Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kayla and this is my YouTube channel where I do a little bit of everything. Lately I've rediscovered my love for reading and I've been watching a lot of booktube because, I've had a lot of time. And I've also been watching a lot of commentary style videos. Those are actually my favorite types of videos to watch. And I've been wanting to create commentary about like beauty and other things that I'm interested in generally. So in this video, I kind of like to combine the idea of booktube, like talking about books, with commentary. So this is a new style of video for me. Let me know what you guys think about it. I definitely think I want to do more videos that are a similar structure to this. But without further ado, let's just get on with it. So I said earlier that quarantine has given me a lot of time to read and to watch YouTube videos. And also during quarantine, a lot of self-published authors who write like cheesy romance have been working hard because there are a ton of books. When you search COVID-19 romance on like Amazon, a lot of interesting things pop up and I'd like to talk about them. What I really want to do is just kind of look at the vast array of what is out there in regards to this topic. So I'm just going to look at a couple of different ebooks and we're going to read the descriptions and we're going to go on this journey together because I have a feeling that this is going to be a wild ride. Sorry about the shift in like camera angle, but I realized that I was sitting so low and that barely any of me was in frame. But so upon searching COVID-19 romance, the first novel I found is called Quarantine Love, and it is by Samantha Jones. It's called, the title, Quarantine Love, BWWM, COVID-19, Quarantine. For those of you who don't know, BWWM means Black woman, white man. So the story is just about an interracial couple. And funnily enough, a lot of these quarantine romance books are this genre. They all are an interracial couple where the woman is Black and the man is white. So there's definitely like a market for this. I don't know, I just think that's so interesting. Okay, here's the description. After the outbreak of the novel coronavirus, what? The world is in chaos and people are forced to stay indoors, work from home, and only allowed outside for essentials or to exercise. It's the wrong type of allowed. Not to be that girl, but just thought I'd point that out. Melanie Jackson is a pretty 32-year-old energetic sales rep who is used to being outdoors. So when Melanie decides to go out for a run, little does she know that it'll change her life. Whoa. Dean Epson is a 31-year-old digital marketer and a very active, handsome man. Their paths cross in the most unfortunate and unlikeliest of ways that has their lives in the balance. How will Melanie and Dean react when lives are on the line? Can two strangers bond during a testing situation? Is it possible to find real love during quarantine? Find out in this testing BWWM romance by Samantha Jones, a BWWM love. That was a mouthful. Ooh, do I want 2 free BWWM romance books? I'm gonna have to pass. Okay. Oh, okay. So we can look at the first couple pages. They actually give you a decent sample. I'm honestly not sure if the story's gonna be interesting. It sounds a little cheesy. It just sounds like a couple falling in love. But I think it's worth looking at. Let's see if there's anything like entertaining in here. Okay, chapter 1. The total cost of the cans of paint you bought is $2,700, Melanie Jackson said as she computed the price of the items purchased by Mr. Lewinsky. All right, I'm going to pay with my credit card, Mr. Lewinsky said as he brought out his American Express card. Oh, he got money. All right, sir, Melanie said as she collected his credit card and slid it through the point of sale machine. The payment has been approved, sir. Craig will help you convey them to your truck. Thank you very much. The pleasure is ours. Okay, actually, this is just them having a very long conversation. But I will say, normally in these types of books that are just kind of like smutty and are like, you know, not very well written, typically the dialogue is much worse than this. I know I'm only on page 1, but you'd be surprised at the stuff these authors write. Like, it's almost as if all the characters always act as if they've never heard humans speak to each other before. So I read through this sample and I do have to admit it's very boring. It kind of, the setup of it very much reminds me of like maybe a Hallmark movie, but it sounds cute. It's not like a bad story from what I've gathered. I'll just read you a little excerpt so that we can meet our male character, and then I'll read you them meeting and we can move on. But so our male is Dean, and it just, I don't know, this book is kind of funny. Obviously, it's like a short little novella, but it kind of just like switches POV out of nowhere, like in the middle of the chapter. It's told in third person, so it's not like too distracting, but it is kind of weird because we're focusing on Melanie, the female lead character, and then all of a sudden it's like Dean was stressed at work, and it's like, okay, but who's Dean? But basically he's like stressed at his job too, and he just wants to go home because he's had a long stressful day at work. And Melanie basically just described the same situation earlier in the chapter, but you know, from her perspective and at her job. So it switched POV again, and now Melanie is driving home and she's in a ton of traffic. So she talks to her assistant, and she goes to work and, you know, talks to her assistant, and all of a sudden there's an announcement while she's at work on the TV. Fellow Organians? What are people from Oregon called?
Oregonian.
These are delicate and sensitive times. This morning, the first case of the novel coronavirus was confirmed in Portland, Oregon. Although this decision will have some effects on the economy of Oregon, it is in the interest of the masses that as a result of this announcement, that starting from tomorrow, all establishment and companies, except those offering essential services, should be closed down indefinitely. Oh my God, I sound so illiterate. And he declares a lockdown. So everybody's all shocked and they all shook. And the same thing happens at Dean's job. They announce it and everybody at his job is shook. So I guess they have to immediately go home and like go into lockdown. The way they describe the virus is pretty interesting. Also, well, I don't even know. I'm very confused, honestly, because they kept calling it a novel. So I'm like, is it supposed to be a book? Are they saying that the coronavirus is a book? I'm very confused. Back to Dean's perspective. Although they had known that the coronavirus was in America, they hadn't envisioned that it would quickly spread to Oregon. Why? Okay, but now they're about to meet. Dean Epson had woken up early and had started the 2-kilometer jog that he had begun since the lockdown began. Also, another funny thing is that every time it like kind of switches perspective, it tells you their full name. It's like Dean Epson was doing this. Melanie, what is Melanie's last name? Whatever, it doesn't matter. So, okay, cool. He's jogging because he gotta keep fit. And he sees a lady sprawled on the sidewalk. What's wrong with her? Is she okay? He said to himself as he moved towards her cautiously. Hi there, are you okay? I'm fine, I guess I sprained my knee, she said. Oh, sorry, do you mind if I help you home? You look like you could use some help. I wouldn't mind, thank you. I don't know, this conversation is just funny to me. I mean, it's not like bad. It's not like badly written, but I don't know, it feels very informal. It feels like, I don't know, they're having like a business meeting. It's like, can I please help you? Yes, you may. I'm Dean, and I'm Melanie. Thanks for the assistance. Oh, it's nothing. I was just concerned when I saw you sprawled on the sidewalk. I thought you were in pain, and it turns out I was right. See, like, who talks like this? I mean, it's not that bad. Like, I've seen worse, but it feels like, just like a robot. Like, no slang. No, I was concerned when I saw you sprawled out on the sidewalk. I thought that you were in pain. Like, wouldn't a normal person just be like, oh, when I saw you, I was worried? I think I should call 911. You should go to the hospital. So I'm really confused. Like, the lockdown doesn't seem to be that much of a problem for them. Like, they're all just kind of like, oh, that sucks. I have to be home. Okay. And they just like go home. Like, nobody seems concerned or worried. And they're not saying anything about like it's spreading. So I don't know. Like, is that because it's a novel and not a virus? And this is a very uneventful first meeting. They meet and he calls 911 so that she can like go to the hospital. And you know, they cut the, what are they called? EMTs come, and Dean's like, oh, I hope you recover soon. And he gives them his contact information, I guess, so they can call him when she's okay, like to tell him that she's fine for some reason, even though they don't know each other. Thanks for being helpful, the female EMT said as she finally closed the ambulance and sped toward the hospital. I hope she's back on her feet soon. Oh, I hope she's back on her feet in no time, Dean said to himself as he continued jogging. And that's the end of the sample. Like, that did not make me want to read more. However, Samantha Jones's, is that her name? Yeah. Samantha Jones's discography is very interesting to look at. Everything is this BWWM idea. Her adopted baby that came with hidden secrets. The billionaire's plus-size nanny he wants to bed. The doctor and his plus-sized beautiful patient. Forced to marry her billionaire boss too. Oh, there's a 2. And 1 is here as well, and it's the exact same cover. However, these books are by different people, but it says more by Samantha Jones. Maybe these are all just different pen names. I'm sorry, I need a minute. The billionaire's plus-size chef he wants to eat. Okay, I'm ready to move on. I've talked about this for too long. So the next book I looked at is called The Cure, a COVID-19 romance. It's by Isol Late Weisself. The description reads, in this punchy novella, sexy firecracker scientist Dr. Karen Fokasha develops a cure for COVID-19 in her secret basement lab. She is assisted by her steadfast genius Chinese research assistant, also Karen, last name Lee. Oh, they're both named Karen. Intent on releasing their cure to the world, they are blocked by greedy pharmaceutical bossmen who refuse to accept their let's make this drug accessible conditions. Frustrated and with nowhere to turn, Karen and Karen seek assistance from Joaquin, their university's custodian, who puts them in contact with his Mexican uncle Mario, an out-of-business drug cartel leader. It isn't just the stock market that is taking a hit. Mario, profoundly moved by the beauty and frailty of our human condition after watching a viral video about COVID-19 blessings, now seeks to reform his ways and jumpstart that supply chain. He offers his illegal facilities and highly coordinated network of dealers to shift the cure across the globe for a minimal 10% markup fee. Fireworks flare, both in and outside the bedroom, as the Karens and the Mexicans fight to defeat COVID-19, unburden our hospital systems, and get those airplanes back in the sky. So you heard that. Are you ready to read it? Oh, it's so, okay. So it's already very, interesting. It is April in the year 2020. The world is swept by a global COVID-19 pandemic known as the coronavirus, or Rona, as some charming individuals online have adopted. The Rona originated in the late 2019 from an unregulated food market in Wuhan, China. From hence one of our beautiful protagonist hails. Okay, wait. So this is an introduction. But like, why is it being told like a narrator's telling you? Like, is this supposed to be the author? Is this story like narrated? Also, I'm really confused. Are both of the Karens the main character, or is just the one Karen more important? I don't understand. Apparently, the virus jumped from an endangered species that looked like an armadillo or something. It was not, contrary to some conspiracy theory mongers, engineered by the Chinese government, which is an outrageously stupid accusation given that their own population took a massive blow. She must have had some beef. Somebody must, I mean, this is fair, but somebody must have said some dumb stuff that really made her mad, and she was like, I'm gonna put this in my romance book, which is an interesting choice. But she makes good points. A virus is an incredibly senseless weapon in 2020. So COVID-19 is sweeping the globe. It has reached all the nations of the earth except apparently North Korea. And then she just goes on to explain like the effects of the virus. You know, that things are closed, people can't go out, social distancing, no sports, people can't go to school. And the last line of this introduction: what the world needs is a cure. Which is accurate. So, you know, I can't even be mad. I agree. Chapter 1. The Karens invent the cure. Okay, so this is told in third person. Dr. Karen turned her head to toss her long, silky blonde hair over her shoulder, only to remember it was tucked into a hairnet. Oh shit, she mumbled as she crouched over a petri dish in the glaring light of her basement's lab. What? Asked Karen Lee without looking up. Oh, are they gonna refer to them by their first and last names? Nothing was visible across the table but her black bobbed hair, also silky, and the top of her giant tortoiseshell glasses. Trial 342 is beeped. An ant crawled in it. You said your basement was sterile. Okay, so this is just them creating a cure. This is very interesting. This is a very just interesting premise for a book in general, because I can't tell if it's serious or not, because the actual premise of it, and you know, based on the description. Also, can we just talk about how the description was literally like 5 paragraphs? Like it was a chapter. Okay, I'm being extra, but it was long. But as a premise, this sounds kind of like it could be serious. Like it actually is kind of interesting. It's like, oh, this could be serious, but then it's also ridiculous because it's like these women are so hot and this man is so hot and they gotta fight COVID together, and it's all very confusing. Okay, so much like the other story, this book is also boring. There's kind of a decent amount of like buildup, which is very surprising to me because these books are very short. I think this one's only like 80 pages. Oh, it's 129 pages, which is pretty short. I mean, I guess it's enough to build up some, you know, preface. But I thought I'd read this scene because it's kind of funny. So Karen goes home Karen, the first Karen. Without speaking, Karen slid her key into the building's lock. With a click, the lock engaged and she swung the door open. It squeaked loudly and Karen Lee jumped and smacked Karen Fokasha on the back. This caused an awkward physical altercation that both refused to acknowledge. Once poise returned, they snuck silently down the hallway and up the stairs to the 4th floor. This time, Karen fumbled with her key and lock for several minutes until Karen Lee turned on the flashlight in a huff. Shortly thereafter, they were pulling the door closed behind them and switching the office light on. To be honest, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know why they're going in here. I was trying to read this, but it was very boring and I skimmed it, just looking for something that would interest me. The office was a mix of artwork. Okay, this is also boring. The door unexpectedly opened. Karen Lee fell on the couch and the other Karen squawked loudly and hit her head on the lamp. The handsome young man who opened the door watched with amazement and disbelief before saying, "You ladies, like, robbing this office?" "No," said Karen, while the other Karen shouted, "Who are you?" The man sidled into the room. He was tall and lanky, wearing a navy blue custodial uniform and holding a large garbage bag in his hand. Gorgeous dark hair swept across his forehead, covering warm brown skin. He was wickedly handsome, with a sensual mouth and gleaming, mischievous eyes. His hands were long and elegant, one gripping the garbage bag while the other stroked his chin. His gaze danced with curiosity and amusement. These books are so funny because whenever they see someone attractive, they instantly describe all of their features at once. And it's like, I get it from the sense of like, oh, when you first meet someone, you probably would take in their features. But it's like very overwhelming. Karen Lee looked up at him from the floor and felt her heart drop into her stomach. Karen Fokasha looked at him from the desk where she was gripping her head and thought they were busted. I'm Joe Quinn. It's Joe Quinn, right? I think I pronounced it wrong earlier. I'm a janitor, he said in a deep voice. If you are thieves, you're really shit at it. Both Karens looked mildly offended. Okay, so I'm Karen. I'm also Karen. They introduced themselves. Are you gonna tell on us? This is my office, I swear. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I really needed to get something. It's really important. So he holds out his hand. Karen hissed. Oh, I guess he's gonna help her get the stuff. Karen, hissed Karen Fokasha. What is your problem? Take his hand. Oh, Lord Jesus. Karen jolted, shook her head slightly, and flushed a deep red. She thrusted her hand up into Joe Quinn's hand, and as he pulled her up, she nervously jerked, bounced up like a spring, and smashed into his chest. She would have tumbled backward, but for Joe Quinn wrapping his arms tightly around her to hold her steady. She looked up into his eyes and felt herself drowning in their beautiful depths. Are you drunk? He asked. Oh, God. If you ladies aren't thieves, then you can show me some identification, I think. They both blushed, but we didn't bring our ID. Why? Well, we sort of thought we were doing something illegal by coming here. You thought you were doing something illegal by coming to your own office and somehow having no ID was going to aid in that? You know, quarantine. I'm going to go ahead and sit right here and monitor what's going on. Go about your business. I'm an essential worker after all. I'll be essential right here. Is he just like messing with them? The man made a jumpsuit look good. Joe Quinn threw his arm up around the couch, casually resting it behind Karen Lee's back. Why? Why? And that's the end of the preview. That was a journey.